Blah 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 blah. Hello everybody and happy birthday to Vicky. Happy birthday to you. You've got to put up with James too.
When he has a poo.
While you're having a bath. Hello everybody, I'll tell you what TV here, F1 Podcast. It's been a while since we've been on and I've just cut James off in the middle of a story. So you'll have to remind us about that in a little while, James.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've not been doing our podcast for a while. So there's a couple of things we're going to talk about this evening regarding Formula One. But I was actually thinking, guys, maybe we should start off with actually perhaps discussing why we haven't been doing any live streams recently.
Because we're all a bit depressed.
I'd probably agree with you on that.
You're right, actually.
Well, to be fair, right, after last season, I was a bit depressed with Formula One, and I wasn't really up for Formula One again. But now I've seen some testing, I'm kind of getting back in the mood a little bit.
It's interesting you say that, because that's kind of exactly the situation I found myself in. The season got a little bit depressing and personal life has been a little bit depressing. And I've found myself in a situation where I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday, 8:30. Oh, right, okay, I'm not doing a podcast today. So like the days are just blending for me at the moment, and I don't think I've had the awareness to actually have anything to talk about. It's not like I've had any stories to tell. I mean, I've not shit myself recently. I don't know if you have, James. We're gonna find out now.
Yeah, no, other day about I was sat just working on a setup, and then thought, oh, let's have a cheeky. Oh no,
we've lost you.
Yeah, basically, yeah, we're not very pleasant, but yeah.
Oh, it's a good job you got the old person's chair, then, isn't it? Waterproof.
Well, that's it. You know, it's unfortunately it's not got a built-in Portaloo.
You would use it, but I mean, to be fair though, like Steve said, I had kind of lost interest in Formula One in many respects, and so much so that even though last season we all said we would love it if they televised the test session, and they did televise the test session, and I didn't even realise it was on. That's how sort of detached I'd come from it. So when I did actually watch a bit last Wednesday and Thursday, like Steve said, it re-perked my interest. And not just, to be honest, actually, it wasn't necessarily the cars going around the track that perked my interest. It was actually the broadcast that was done by Sky. It was the conversations. It was funny. It was interesting. You had Karun Chandok, who I think is brilliant. He's so full of knowledge. It's unbelievable. And it was entertaining to watch and listen to. Will Buxton was brilliant. And that really did perk my interest, because I was like, okay, I'll watch a bit more of this the next day. Up until today, when I was like, all right, it's the next test session's cool, like, I'll stick that on. I've got the day free. I can just bang that on and watch that all day. It wasn't fucking on TV, was it?
Mm. Well, I've got to say, I've been completely in the same boat. Like, most years, I've been like, oh, I can't wait for F1 to restart, can't wait. And I don't know, I'm still finding it hard to even get interested because it's so much the same.
How much did it not help when the car liveries were released? Like Haas released their livery. Like last season, we did do a full-on look at the car liveries. We'd even designed our own liveries beforehand as guesses. I mean, mine was shocking, but that's not the point. Guesses of what some liveries might look like. And this season, we haven't even discussed it at all. When Haas's livery came out, I was like, okay, a bit like the recent Lotus a couple of years ago, but okay, it's plain black with a bit of gold. I can dig that. And then the rest of them were revealed, and I was like, oh, all right, okay. Well, that's fucking shit. And what was it you posted on Renault's Facebook page, Steve, when they revealed their car? Hello?
Steve?
Now, Steve...
I was muted.
You twat.
Right, yeah.
Shall I set you up again? So what was it you posted? What was it you posted on Renault's Facebook page, Steve, when they revealed their car?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was I put, but I put basically... nice to see you putting Sean Bull to good use.
Yeah.
Because they took on Sean Bull, who's great at designing car liveries, and then they've used the same one that they used before they signed Sean Bull.
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone wants to know who Sean Bull is, just type his name into Google.
Yeah.
Just put Sean Bull liveries, and you'll be amazed at some of the liveries, is concept liveries. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And then Renault go, do you know what? We'll just use last year's.
Yeah, it made me think, I wonder if they've done that, right? They've signed him up, and then he can't do... Because there hasn't been... I don't remember seeing any this year. I don't remember seeing any concept liveries from Sean Bull. I could be wrong, but last year they were plastered all over my Facebook feed. But this year there's been nothing. So could they have signed him up to stop him from doing concept liveries and making them all look bad?
Maybe.
Well, it's an easy payday, isn't it? But
there's been two liveries though this season that I really do like, or did like, because it's now past tense. There's the Alfa Romeo, which was they had their Valentine's Day special, which was just for a media day, which was supposed to be a secret media day. But why have a special livery for a secret media day? Don't know. And then there was what basically Red Bull do every year is, here's our car in a livery that we're not going to use.
Yeah.
Which is better than the livery that they do use.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I don't know, I just get completely frustrated because it's like, well, what is the point? I mean, it draw in so much more attention if each year... Like, I can understand, like, a certain team wanting to have continuity between, year to year, so that people who are the average person goes, oh, that's a Mercedes-Benz, or oh, that's a Ferrari. I can get that, but you can still make something look like it's got a bit of continuity, but change about 30%.
Yeah.
Of the livery.
I mean, I'm looking at the picture we use on our podcast screen, and it's got a Ferrari, a Red Bull, a Renault, a Mercedes, a McLaren, and I think that's a Force India, and all of them could be this year's car. They're not, but they could be. It is that bad. But anyway, I mean, the thing with the liveries is, when I saw them, it was just simply a case of, well, if you can't be arsed, neither can I.
Yeah, yeah. I think the only one that's, clearly had to have a change because it was Martinez, Williams, but even that, it's just like,
It's nothing special, but because most of the others have not changed, at least theirs is a little different now. I don't mind theirs because it is something different. So I mean, you've got Haas and Williams with a different, like, definite different livery, whereas everybody else is just way too similar, I think.
Well, McLaren's got a little bit more blue over the shark fin area of the car.
Yeah.
Mercedes have done something quite interesting with their blending from the silver to the black with the Mercedes symbols. But yeah, apart from that, to be fair, Renault identical, Red Bull identical. Sorry, there's one change on the Red Bull, and it now says Honda, not Tiger.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Toro Rosso identical to last season's livery. It's just like, well, couldn't they have done something?
Yeah.
At least with the Ferrari, they've gone for a lot more black instead of white.
Yes, they have, and they've gone for a matte colour, which I must admit I'm not overly keen on, but I suppose that's about the only thing that they can change, really, isn't it? Change the white to black and change the thing is with the matte, it's probably something to do with either thickness of paint or it allows the car to hide, it reduces the shadowing on the car so you can hide features a little more, and stuff like that,
like the curvature of bodywork and stuff.
Yeah, things like that. I mean, okay, so the livery side of things is piss poor, really, we know that, but what really got me excited when I was watching the testing, other than the way it was broadcast, and to be fair, I mean, with the broadcast of the test sessions, there were only 6 or 7 cameras around the track, or 8 cameras around the track, but it was enough. I was seeing an F1 car go around the track in testing while people in the know were talking about it and filling me full of information. But
on a race day, though, Dave, you would have twice the amount of cameras, but they'd all be facing the fucking crowd.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. The only time I do remember them looking at the crowd was when Jock Clear was in one of the stands at Turn 10. But yeah, what did get me excited, though, was the driver lineups. All right? The driver lineups, and also the fact that the Honda in the first 4 days. Now, I don't know exactly what's happened today, but I have got all of the information, things like who's been fastest over the 5 days, who's done the most laps. So if you want to know any of that, I have got that quickly to hand. But the interesting thing is the first 4 days of testing, the Honda, no mechanical issues whatsoever. Pumped in a shitload of laps compared to when it was in the McLaren. So Honda could be looking strong with Red Bull. It's difficult to know who is going to be the best, because I don't think any of the teams are running anywhere near 85%, let alone 100%. But what has been interesting as well is that the lap times have been faster than last year's test sessions, even though the cars were meant to have been slowed down.
There's a good reason for that, though.
It snowed last year.
Yes, exactly that. This time last year, it was beast from the east in the UK, but also they were getting snow in Spain.
Yeah.
The temperatures were a lot lower, whereas this, currently we're about, nearly 15 degrees above what it was at this time last year.
Yeah, but as well, I mean, clearly there's going to be a reduction in front downforce, and we've always said that the previous design was completely wrong,
flawed.
Looked good, but wrong. I just hope that they're able to follow each other. I mean, I understand that's why Ross Brawn has brought these rules in, but I just hope it's enough. Because it's okay, the team's going, oh, well, because of developments, we don't want to, so we're all going to stand together and say no. It's like, just fuck off and let Ross Brawn bring a rule in and deal with it.
Yeah. Now, I have got a picture to show you, actually. It'd be very good for you to have a look at. So if you just let me get it up on up on the live stream. Bear with me 1 second. Yeah, so I think this is a really interesting picture. Oh no, sorry, that's the picture someone sent me on Valentine's Day, and you can see that the pants are even been hung on the door. So sorry about that. I didn't mean to show that. Bear with me a sec. There we go. There's the picture. Right, I'll send this picture to you two. Now, this is a picture of all of the front wings before today. Right, and now I know Mercedes have brought a new aero package today apparently, but this is all of the front wings from before today. And I know last season we sort of talked about the front wings and said that when they announced how many elements that they would be allowed to have, we all kind of said, oh well, we thought it should be less. But when you look at some of these wings, you can tell, okay, yes, there is, like, for example, on the Mercedes, there is 3 very big elements. But I prefer to see 3 very long elements rather than the 8 or 9 different sized elements that they had on in previous years. Yeah.
I mean, even if you think... But the only thing that worries me about these wings is 2009... we had very, very basic front wings to a point where I think they were like, in terms of elements, there might have been 2, maybe maximum 3 in 2009. And, you know, racing were okay, better than what it has been in the previous year. I just hope it's enough. I just wish that they said, right, you can do anything within this, but it's all got to be one piece. They'd have really fucked them all off because they've been like, oh fuck, how are we going to get some downforce?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, if it was all one solid piece, then they would have the choice of, well, you bring one a big aero wing for one race, and for Monza you bring a skinny wing. And
yeah.
And if you've got it wrong, tough shit, you've got it wrong. But you may be able to bring 2 or 3 different versions of it. But this is the regulations, and to be fair, I actually I don't mind them because there is a lot less on them than there were. Will it make a difference? Well, the problem there is the first race is in Australia, and unless we end up with an absolute miracle of a race, it's going to be a bore fest. And so, as we've said previously, so we don't need to go into it too much, Australia, Melbourne, as much as you may love the track, it should not be the first race of the season, because fuck all happens there.
Unless you need the first race of the season to be one that grabs everybody's attention and makes them want to watch the rest of the season.
Yeah. Because last year, it was... Australia was a bore fest. Then we went to Bahrain, I think it was, and it was a really exciting race, and it got better and better. But it should start off with a bam, wow, yeah, come on, can't wait for the next one. Which, when we all watched the first Formula E race, is kind of how we all felt. We were like, you know what, that was really exciting. I would look forward to watching the next one. Now, admittedly, I haven't seen any of the others. I think I've seen the second one. I've not managed to watch the others.
Yeah, I watched the second Formula E race.
Have neither of you watched Mexico one yet?
No. I were about to tee it up, and then Vicky came home, and I thought, it's a birthday, I can't put this on.
Yeah.
So, right. The Mexico E-Prix is the best one of the races so far. No, I won't, but it's the best one of the E-Prix so far.
Brilliant. But yeah, I am actually getting, even though it's a gimmick, I'm really getting a fan of the area where you drive over. I prefer that to DRS any day.
Attack
zone.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's hilarious.
It goes to say that when the start of last season, we were probably digging Formula E a little bit, apart from the look of their new car that came.
Yeah, I mean they need to get rid of the obvious things like fan boost. That's just bullshit.
Yeah, it is bullshit, especially when. What was it? I think in the first and
it's
second.
Whoever's got the most mates, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, or whoever can pay them. I mean, it's that they should get rid of. They'd be better off having, like with the attack zone, have 2 attack zones, but have it so it only lasts for about 20 seconds. So you get an instant 20-second extra usage of power. And you've got to use both of them at least so many times in a race. That would be so much better than fan boost.
Or you go through the attack zone, and instead of it being active straight away, you decide when you use it.
Yeah.
So instead of it being active, you've activated it, but you're not using it yet. You save it for when you want to use it.
Yeah, you've activated it, and then you could save it, and you've got to use it within 5 laps or something like that.
Well, no, I mean, they could bring this into Formula 1, right? They could bring this into Formula 1. Have an attack zone, and they say, right, okay, you have to go through the attack zone, say, at least 3 times in the race, right? Once you have been through an attack zone, you have 5 laps to start using it. And the moment that you first start using it, you then have 5 laps to use it up or lose it. Right, so as soon as you hit that extra bit of power, right, you've now got 5 laps from that point to use up as much of the power as you want, whether it be for a set amount of time or whatever. But
just clarify something I said on one of the previous podcasts about the attack zone. I was under the impression that when they went through it, they got 4 minutes to use the boosted power, but they only got a certain percentage of that 4 minutes to use. Well, I was confused by it basically, but to clarify, when they activate it, that's when it starts, and it lasts for exactly 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So they have additional power for 4 minutes. But talking about when they decide to activate it once they've initiated it or whatever, would be a better way of doing it, because what you'll notice in Formula E, do you know when they're behind the safety car?
Yeah.
Right. Some drivers will benefit or attempt to benefit by going through the attack zone but behind the safety car, because they can't be overtaken then, so they're still in the same position when they go through the attack zone, hoping that the safety car is going to go in that lap, and then they've got it and nobody else has if they haven't gone through it. But I think there's something there with Formula E that they need to look at. Either deactivate the attack zone while the safety car is on track, or yes, you can go through the attack zone behind the safety car, but the timer doesn't start until the safety car comes in.
Thing is, I wouldn't be surprised though if the FIA are using Formula E as a test bed, and then it'll come into Formula 1 who will perfect it, so to speak. But I would much rather get rid of DRS in Formula 1 and have an attack zone, because that would mean that drivers have to slow down, go out of position, potentially lose a place, but have the speed and the power to get the place back. Okay, it may be seen as false overtaking, but it would add an extra bit of spice to it.
What we've got now, though, Dave, is false overtaking.
Yeah.
People go, I won't bother overtaking in the corner because it's easier to do it on straight.
Yeah.
So it's depriving us of action. Rather than being like, oh, God, I can't get past. Fuck it, I'll go in attack zone.
Yeah.
Well, I've lost a bit of pace. But 2 laps later, you're back on the gearbox and you've got a bit more power. Fuck it, this might be my only opportunity. I'll shove it up inside of this corner. And it creates action. Yeah. Whereas what we've got right now is just completely fucking boring. Well, and I understand that, you know, the Sky are doing the best, but I fucking cringe every time it's like, here he goes down the inside, and you're like, yeah, he's fucking another 200 metres yet till apex. Why are you getting excited? It were easy.
Yeah. But as a commentator, you kind of have to do that, otherwise it's boring. But the thing is, though, this year's F1, it has the potential to blow the last 3 or 4 years out the water, although it's not asking much for it to be able to do that. But when you look at it, right, and we're actually going to do this, we're going to go through this now, actually. We're going to go through every team, right, and you're going to pick who is going to be the winner out of that team. All right, so driver versus driver. All right, but then we're also going to do who's going to be the champion, who's going to be the constructors champion. So going through it, we may find that the situation could be very entertaining on the track. So if we start off at Williams, right, you've got Robert Kubica, who, although everybody knows who he is and what he's done and what he's coming back from, he is potentially a rookie because it is not known whether he's going to be good enough or not.
Last time he was in a car was 2010. 2011. 2011. That's when he had the rally.
So it's all new technology to him anyway.
Completely.
Yeah. But I mean, not only that, it's the physicalness. So him up against George Russell, who's a young talent, up and coming, has had a very successful career so far. Kind of in a situation where he has nothing to lose. If he gets beat by Robert Kubica, everyone will pretty much just say, well, that was to be expected. But if he beats Robert Kubica, people are going to say, well, he's done a fantastic job, or Kubica weren't ready. It's not going to be a negative against Russell.
Yeah, but who's going to be the better driver? Who's going to score more points?
Right, well, who do you think then, Steve, out of them two at Williams?
My money would be on Kubica at the moment, only because I think he's got more potential to be consistent throughout the season.
Interesting.
I'll go with George Russell. Just not only
to be argumentative.
piss Steve off, but also, yeah. I don't know. There's something about Kubica. I mean, it's all. We saw how much Schumacher struggled, and he's got two hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he was only out, what, 3 years? 4 years?
Yeah. So he left in 2006. So 2007, 8, 9. So yeah, three years he were out, and he was back in 2010.
Yeah. And he
struggled.
Yeah.
He by the time of 2011 Canadian Grand Prix, he were back, but he was inconsistent.
Yeah, and he didn't have the car. Okay, well, I'm kind of torn with this one because my heart kind of says, yeah, Kubica's going to do it, and I want him to. But George Russell is a very solid driver. Now, I think the only real downside for both of the drivers is that they're probably going to be right at the back of the grid with nobody else to race other than each other.
Yeah, and it must be... I know that George Russell's really a stand-in for Mercedes, but if he doesn't outperform that car, he knows his career's going to go the same way that Ocon's did.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Ocon's completely out of the picture in the future, but it's never great to be out. I mean, I remember after 2010, Hülkenberg had a year off. So 2011 he didn't race. And then he came back in 2012 as a Force India driver. And he struggled opening half of 2012 and then started coming really good by end of 2012. Almost, if he hadn't cocked up, could have possibly won Brazilian Grand Prix. But I just think it's too long to be out of the sport, no matter how good you are. And Schumacher's not a bad barometer.
Yeah. Considering that we're both shit with words, James, I'm surprised we both said barometer at the same time. Well done. I'm going to go with, after everything you've just said, I'm going to go with Kubica. Right, okay. I mean, Williams, I think they're in trouble. I think they're going to struggle. I think within a couple of years we could see them out of the sport or looking for someone to buy them. Anyway, move on. Toro Rosso. Danny Kvyat and the current championship leader, Albon.
Who?
Because he begins with an A.
Because he begins with an A. Alexander Albon is currently the championship leader.
For me, I don't know. This is really, really rude, but I don't know anything about Alexander Albon. But he just looks too friendly.
Mm.
For me, Fernando Alonso, he's got all the experience, but Fernando Alonso always looked like, get out of my way, because I'm coming through. You know what I mean? I'm taking no prisoner.
Yeah.
Schumacher, very similar. Get out of my way, I'm coming through. That Albon lad, he's all like, I'm in Formula 1. And it's like, no, fucking be serious. This is it. And a Kvyat, fuck me. How on God's fucking green earth is he back?
Mm.
I mean,
but, to be fair,
Brendan Hartley must have been really shit. I mean, that's the biggest kick in teeth. If they're getting rid of Brendan Hartley and they're bringing back Kvyat, Brendan must be like, fuck.
Kvyat, he was fastest in one of the sessions.
He was, but only because on that particular day Toro Rosso decided to turn the engine up a bit, use the fastest tyre and take a load of fuel out.
And they put some extra energy in the torpedo.
Yeah.
Oh, tell you something about Albon.
Mm.
James, you may not know this. His first ever go in a Formula 1 car, he lasted one lap before he was in the gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that means he's either committed or shit. And to be fair, I can't comment because, I mean, I've watched a bit of GP2 over the years, and I remember hearing the name, but I don't remember the driver. I could see a picture of him, and I wouldn't know it was him.
This is the first driver in a very long while where Red Bull have not hyped him. I remember even before Kvyat got into Toro Rosso, Red Bull were proper hyping him up like he's going to be the next big thing. Like, whoa, fucking watch out for Danny Kvyat.
Do you think do you think Red Bull have learnt then that they have bigged up their drivers too much, and there's only really been one that's a success? In Vettel, Danny Ricciardo's not exactly been a success, but that's not his fault or because of his talent. And now they've got Max Verstappen, who could do it, but it's still to be proven.
No, I think Red Bull are fucked off because right now, I believe Gasly's good. I don't believe he's going to be as controversial as Max Verstappen is. I don't believe Gasly's going to be able to put up a fight against Verstappen because Verstappen will literally, if he's fucked off, he'll use his car as a weapon.
like Danny Kvyat.
Yeah. Whereas Gasly, even in GP2, he didn't come good until right near the end of the season. There were a fair few races where I was like, I don't know. Ooh. And then, he had his standout performance at Bahrain. That was quite a good one. But I don't know. I personally think that Red Bull have been like the reason why they held on to Webber for so long was because they didn't have the balls to choose between Danny Rick or I think at this time it was
Alguersuari, Buemi.
No, I think it were what's his name? He's in Formula
Ambrosio. Ambrosia.
No. Vern, yeah.
Degrassi.
Who's ringing? Who's this? Oh, hang on.
It's Ross Brawn.
What you said about my front wings, you wanker?
No, it's Vicky. It's my birthday and I want a cup of tea.
Yeah, so
come on, James, who was it? Come on.
Red Bull were in a situation where
was it Red Bull?
they were in
Who was on the phone?
Oh, I don't, it said me, so I know it's Vicky.
All right.
So, yeah, Red Bull held on to Mark Webber because they didn't have a fucking clue who was the safe pair of hands to put in, and they knew that Webber, he might not be the quickest, but it's a safe pair of hands. So, for the good of the team, they kept Mark Webber around. As soon as Mark Webber said, "No, I'm not right interested," they were like, "Okay, bye." And then I remember there were a test, and it were Danny Ricciardo and John-Eric Verne. Ricciardo got the jump to Red Bull, and Verne got the heave-ho. And I think that was one of the biggest errors Red Bull ever did. Because, I mean, I know that Formula E is just full of F1 rejects, but there's a lot of people in there with a lot of pedigree, and Jean-Eric Verne just seems to be able to wipe the floor with the majority of them.
Yeah.
And I really do feel, I think even when they promoted Danny Ricciardo to the Red Bull outfit from Toro Rosso, I'm sure Jean-Eric Verne had like double Ricciardo's points. So I'm sure Jean-Eric Verne will have been like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Yeah, he has a good test, but, overall, I'm clearly better. But then he doesn't get the drive, and then I think Red Bull have been a bit too quick to get rid of people before.
When they promoted Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz had more points than him.
Yeah,
but Max Verstappen got the high cup.
Yeah,
but anyway, so they've never gone on who's on the most points.
That's true. But anyway, we're talking about Red Bull when we're trying to work out who's going to win between Fiat and Albon.
Talking about Toro Rosso.
Well, okay, it's both of them. We might have to wait a moment though while James has to move downstairs, I think.
Yeah.
But okay, so I mean, I think everybody knows that the Red Bull Toro Rosso production line has not.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I was just thinking. I think what it is Red Bull right now. They didn't have. I mean, that Albon, he's nowhere near ready. Just even in testing, they had to put flashing green lights on the back of his car to denote he didn't have a super license.
Yeah,
like that's ringing alarm bells straight away that they're rushing him through. Like everybody else will have done so much mileage in an F1 car. And then a Formula 1 team can assess somebody and go, I think he's good enough. Whereas I think Red Bull are like, we fucking haven't got anybody. Scrape bottom at barrel. We'll come back. Oh, should we ask Verne? Verne's probably like, well, I'm doing better in Formula E. If you bring me back, I'm just going back into Toro Rosso, and that was shit.
Yeah.
And then you've got fucking Aldeschwari. He's in no fit state to drive. I think he's really ill. I'm trying to think of other ones. Who else has been a reject? Buemi. Buemi. He never really impressed me. Apart from when his front wheels fell off.
And he still tried to steer.
Yeah, that worked a bit. I bet he was pushing that brake pedal for all it were worth. Yeah. But yeah, I just think Red Bull have just been caught with their pants down with Danny Ricciardo going, bye. I bet they've just been like, well, hang on, because I bet you a tenner that Toro Rosso would have had, they'd have probably kept Brendan Hartley. And I think as well, the frustration of the engine has caused a situation where they put in so much money into Carlos Sainz's career, and now he's
gone,
fully fledged a McLaren driver.
See, not only that though, right? I don't think they would have kept Brendan Hartley. I think they were banking on Ricciardo staying and then having Kvyat and Gasly in the Toro Rosso. Gasly would have had a year under his belt at Toro Rosso doing nothing but testing the new Honda engine. Kvyat it's his second opportunity. If you're good enough, you'll beat Gasly. If Gasly's good enough, he'll beat you and he'll beat a few of the others. But with Ricciardo going, that's left Red Bull with like, well, hang on a minute. Brendan Hartley ain't good enough. That leaves us Gasly. So Gasly moves through. We've already decided we're not keeping Hartley, but we are bringing Kvyat in. We knew that already because we brought him in for a race. And it's like, well, yeah, like you say, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. That's not a good position to be in. They probably would have benefited from turning around to Mercedes and going, you know what? We will have Ocon. Because if he is potentially World Championship material, we'll steal him off you.
But not only that, how... If you want to... Let's say, for instance, Gasly had stayed in the Toro Rosso for whatever reason, right? And you want to try and judge his ability. Why not have someone from another team like Ocon, so you can go, it's an identical car, so you can compare Ocon... Gasly to Ocon, because you know you've got you know, or even somebody, you could have had somebody else like a Massa or Alonso, or I'm not saying that they would, but you put somebody in there that they're a known entity.
Yeah,
if you want to know what your youngster's ability is, put them up against a known entity, and then you've got something that you can work from. And I think that with putting Kvyat in, this is one thing that they'll find with Albon. You've got Kvyat in there, he'll do a job. Okay, half the races he'll crash, but he'll put a lap time on the board, and you know what Albon's got to then try and get to. And if he can't be anywhere near it, you know Albon's not good enough.
Yeah, but the thing is, if Albon does beat Kvyat, that doesn't help Albon in the way that it'd help Russell beat Kubica. Albon beats Kvyat, and everyone goes, "Wow, it's Kvyat, innit? We know he's shit." So Albon doesn't get the praise from that one. But having said that, come on, make your decision. Who's going to win out of those two?
Albon, because Kvyat's not going to finish enough races.
I'll say Kvyat, just because he's got a bit more experience.
Interestingly, I've gone for Kvyat as well. I think, after everything I've just said, Kvyat is going to be a completely different driver. Either that, or he is so shit that when he was testing for Ferrari and being their reserve driver, they went, you know what? You can fucking have him back, mate. He's fucking shit. Okay, moving on then. Now this is an interesting one. Sauber. Last year...
not Sauber.
Okay, Alfa Romeo. Sorry. Sauber as far as I'm concerned. Alfa Romeo, right? Okay, last year's team of the season for me. A massive turnaround. And this year, Kimi Räikkönen. Which Kimi Räikkönen's going to turn up? And Giovinazzi, who I don't think is ready. Even though he's had a few drives in Formula 1 already, I don't think he's ready.
I think his first drive in a Formula 1 car was about not in a race, but in a Formula 1 car was about 4 years ago. As like a young driver test or whatever. But out of the two, you've got to put your money on Kimi Räikkönen.
Your thoughts, James?
I'll go Kimi over Giovinazzi, but I think it will be closer than we think it will.
I think though, if there's going to be a shock of win this season from any of the lower teams, it'll be Räikkönen in that car.
It could be, yeah. It really could be. If that car hits the ground running in the form that it ended last season, they could be right up there. The thing that concerns me though is they've probably got the most different front wing on their car compared to the others.
Most different, but the most similar to the Ferrari front wing.
No surprise there. But with the most different, that's either going to mean it's potentially the best or potentially the worst.
I think Ferrari will, now that it's not got the name of Sauber in it, even though it technically is. I think that they will be sending concepts and testing them out on Sauber. If they work on Sauber, then we'll stick them on the Ferrari.
Potentially.
Well, if you remember, one of the things that gave Ferrari a bit of a hiccup last season was they changed, I think it was the floor at one point.
Yes.
And they went for a few races with this new floor and ended up having to revert back to the original floor because it didn't give them the time that the CFD said it was going to.
Yeah. And your point being?
They may get Sauber to test the parts in real world rather than on computers. Possibly.
I mean, Kimi Raikkonen could be a surprise winner if it's not going to be one of the top 3 teams. I guess we'll find out partly in Australia and partly the race after. I have also gone for Kimi Raikkonen on that one. Something that concerned me was when I was watching the final day of testing last week was who was it? It was Will Buxton was talking about Giovinazzi, and Will Buxton said what concerned him about Giovinazzi is that he's had times in F1 before and it was up and down. First race was good, second race crashed out, so a bit up and down, but it was something that Giovinazzi said, and that was that when he was asked how does he think it's going to go being teammates with Kimi Raikkonen, Giovinazzi says, I'm really looking forward to it because I'm going to try and copy his driving style. Now, from a racer's perspective, I can kind of understand that a little bit, but if you're getting into Formula 1 and you're just going to copy somebody else's driving style, you should have already done that years ago and come into Formula 1 with your own driving style.
Yeah, he should already have his own identity, his own driving style. This is the way I drive. Like Max Verstappen's always said, I'm not going to change the way I drive. It's me, it's what I am.
Yeah.
He's not gone in there and gone, at the moment the best driver is Lewis Hamilton, so I need to drive like him.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, or same as Daniel Ricciardo. You can bet he's been a late breaker most of his career, more than likely. He's not come into Formula 1 and suddenly gone, oh, this brake pedal goes a bit further. So yeah, I think he's going to struggle. He could be one of the, you're not going to be there next year. Okay, on to the next one then. I've put Renault down as the next one. Nico Hülkenberg versus Danny Ricciardo.
Go on, Steve.
Oh, I don't know. It's a tough one, this, when you first look at those two names, but I think this season could be the season that Hülkenberg finally gets his podium. But I get the feeling that if he does get a podium, Danny Rick's going to be on the top step. So I think Danny Rick's going to score more points than him.
Right. I'll go through my logic here, right?
You like Hülkenberg, so it'll be Hülkenberg.
No. Yeah, but I'll let you know how I've come to that assumption. Other than I think he's good. Right.
Okay.
2015. Well, the first half of it anyway. Verstappen was up against Sainz in a Toro Rosso, and Max Verstappen, I even remember I were at the Australian Grand Prix and he were up Carlos Sainz's ass and going, let me through, and they were going, well, you'll have to overtake him, and Carlos Sainz won't let him through.
You could hear that one in the stands.
Well, I realised when I got back, but I could tell, just from being in the stands, I could actually tell. I was going, Max Verstappen's right up his ass. I'm surprised they haven't let him go. And then I'm like, on the fourth lap round, I'm like, bloody hell, they haven't let him go yet. That's ridiculous. And then I think he pitted, and then Sainz pitted, and Sainz ended up with a massive lead over him. And then I think in the end, Verstappen just got so frustrated he spun or something.
Yes.
But that tells me, he's not got the overall speed of Verstappen, but he clearly had a brain on him to keep him behind him. And I'm pretty sure I should really look this up, but I'm pretty sure Carlos Sainz outscored Verstappen while they were at Toro Rosso.
Yeah, they did.
So then Sainz goes over to Renault, and in my head last year, I kind of thought, oh, this is a good barometer to see how good Hülkenberg is. Because if Hülkenberg can beat Sainz, then that proves he's around about the same area. Maybe not as spectacular as some of the crazy moves Verstappen will pull off, but it puts him around the same ballpark in terms of speed. And then Hülkenberg goes and beats Sainz over a season. So I am a bit like, right, okay, so Verstappen went to Red Bull, he were up against Ricciardo. We all know that, like, as soon as Ricciardo said, "Oh, I'm leaving," then it literally, like, they were just giving out shit parts, and Verstappen not good ones. But up until that point, like, I think we forget that Verstappen had a really shocking start of last season, and then came good. Now, I personally think that Red Bull believe, and I believe that this is a contributing factor in Ricciardo leaving Red Bull. I think that they believe that Verstappen was the quicker driver and that he was the future of the team. So Ricciardo knew he wasn't going to be treated as number one like he was when Kvyat were there. So he opts over to Renault, and in my head, I kind of think, well, I think it's going to be really close, but I think Hülkenberg, just because he's been at Renault for so long, I think he might just have the edge over Ricciardo. I don't think Hülkenberg's got the edge in overtaking, but I think he's got speed. But unfortunately, throughout his career, he's just been given shit to drive.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of times last season as well where when Hülkenberg was on a charge, something on the car would fail. He had DRS failure in Suzuka. He had DRS failure, or Danny Ricciardo, sorry, had DRS failure in the first test. So there's always concerning signs with the Renault package. I can kind of see where you're coming from, though. With Hülkenberg having had that extra year or two at Renault, he's already settled in, he knows what's what, and it's all new for Danny Ricciardo. So I could see that, like, on his day, Danny Ricciardo will beat Nico Hülkenberg. But over the course of the season, with Hülkenberg having that experience of being within the team, knowing what goes on, who's who, over the course of the season, he may have that as a benefit and outscore Danny Ricciardo. If he does outscore Danny Ricciardo, that hurts Ricciardo a bit, but boosts Hülkenberg massively. All of a sudden, he could be on top team's radar again.
Yeah, even, I mean, let's not forget as well, Danny Ricciardo, when he were up against Vettel,
beat him.
He wiped the floor with him. So if Hülkenberg can manage to beat Ricciardo, that definitely puts Hülkenberg in a good position.
Yeah.
And I do believe if Hülkenberg hadn't have moved from Force India to Renault, I reckon he would have been in the seat that Bottas is in, and we'd have a better representation.
Possibly. Okay. If Ricciardo does beat Nico Hülkenberg, it doesn't hurt Hülkenberg one iota. It doesn't hurt him one bit. It doesn't boost Ricciardo massively because he was already beating Hülkenberg. But if he's able to put the Renault on the podium and Hülkenberg can't get near, that'll hurt Hülkenberg. Having said that, though, I think I'm going to go for Ricciardo beating Hülkenberg over the course of the season.
Yeah.
So, James, you're going Hülkenberg. And Steve, did you say Ricciardo?
I did.
Okay.
But I did say that I think Hulkenberg will probably get his first podium.
Yeah, it'll just come to the downside of Ricciardo winning the race. Monaco. Yeah. See, now, Ricciardo in the Renault at Monaco could be interesting because he has been brilliant at Monaco over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Okay, on to the next one then. Racing Point. Lance Stroll versus Sergio Perez. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. I mean, Stroll shouldn't be in a fucking Formula 1 car, and Perez has got no hope this season of saying, move him out the way, I'm faster than him, because they'll just turn around and go, no, he's the boss's son, we're not allowed to do that.
But the problem there will be, I don't think Stroll will ever be ahead of Perez in the first place.
No.
Yeah.
So I think on that, because of that, Perez will score more points than Stroll, without a doubt. Stroll's just not going to have the pace, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see Perez being the best of the rest out of the top. You'll have the top 3 teams, then you'll have Perez, and then you'll have everyone else, and then Stroll will be near the bottom somewhere.
Stroll will be in a Williams sandwich.
Yeah. Because I wouldn't be surprised if. Sorry, go on.
I personally don't think Force India is going to be in a great position this year. Because with all that limboing about in middle of last year, who's going to take over the team? We're in financial difficulty, blah, 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 blah. That could have... Think about the amount of money that is not only financed into keeping the current F1 car up to date, but also the next year's car in development. I personally think that if they were in that much dire straits where they were like, oh, well, we don't know what to do because we're going to go bankrupt, I reckon they probably would have gone, right, okay, hold off on the development of next year's car until we've got proper ownership and some new people in here. Now, that's probably took a fair bit of development away. I'm not saying Force India aren't good enough to come back, but I think the opening half of the season, I think they'll be back with the Williams.
Possibly. I mean, they will have the benefit now of being able to afford to bring updates every race. Whereas last season, that wasn't something that they were really able to do. And I do know that they've bought a hell of a lot of equipment for their site. So they have spent a lot of money trying to rebuild that place, but I don't think it's going to be ready for this season. I think this season for them, they should treat it as a brand new team. And this season is just, okay, let's learn what we need to learn and be ready for next year.
Stroll is shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've actually already written an S, a D and a J next to Perez's name. Now, you may want to correct me on that, guys, but I'm not a fan of Perez, but out of those two, Perez is the better driver. End of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of his, but he will score more points without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well move on to the next one then. Okay, Haas. Stuck with the same drivers, Grosjean, Magnussen. New investment coming in with Rich Energy. Probably the best looking car on the grid, and it's plain black with a touch of gold. I mean, that says something when the best looking car on the grid is plain black. So yeah, Grosjean, Magnussen. Who wins there, and who's still there next year?
Neither of them. Do you know what? Out of all the teams, for me, there's been one driver that's, you could say there's reason why one driver should have more points than the other. In this team, though, I think both drivers will just have equally as shit points. So they'll both have similar amount of points, probably even finish the season level on points, but not very many.
I mean, when you look at last season, they both had a shocker in Australia. Wasn't their fault with the wheel nut failures. After that, though, Grosjean, shit start to the season. Magnussen was actually very good. Then Grosjean had a much better end to the season, and Magnussen was shit. So it's a difficult one to judge that. I'm leaning towards Grosjean finally have a season where he's not having too many problems and manages to beat Magnussen comfortably.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Roman Grosjean's just fucked. I personally think he's. This year was like a sympathy year. Like, oh well, you know, you've been here since the start, so we'll just give it benefit of doubt. I personally think since he's had a kid, he's not the man he was.
Don't know if you noticed, but I lost connection.
No, we didn't notice. Where'd you go? Hello? But I mean, you could be right there, James. I mean, what I would say though with the Haas, whichever driver comes out on top at the end of the season, they should keep, for one simple reason: they bring in one new driver and they've got someone to compare him against. But if they get rid of both and bring two new drivers in, they're starting all over again.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and the thing is, there is even more of a Ferrari connection with Haas and Alfa Romeo now. So I wouldn't be surprised if after this season we see more of Ferrari youth drivers in the Haas car. But I think, even though I don't think either of these are going to do particularly great, I think one of them will probably have to stay to get a proper representation.
Unless, though, the two drivers you're bringing in, you know, on better. So basically, let's say, for instance, if they were able to land Hulkenberg and Perez, right? Complete random pairing. But those two drivers, you know what you get.
Yeah.
So, you know, you could easily say, well, those two are better than the two they had. So that's the only occasion I think you'd probably want to change both drivers. But if you're bringing a youngster through, you keep one of your experienced drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, come on then. Who outs the other one?
I'm sitting on the fence.
There's no fence sitting here, mate. You got to pick
Equal points.
Got to pick one or the other.
No, they can finish the season on equal points.
Yeah, they can, but one will still be ahead of the other.
Ericsson.
Oh,
Ericsson. James for a moment was thinking, what car's Ericsson in? I know I was.
I'll say Magnussen will beat Verstappen, but Magnussen will probably get in a fair few crashes because he'll get frustrated at the cars.
Magnussen's going to beat Verstappen?
What's Verstappen got to do with it?
Yeah.
What the fuck? What the fuck have I just said?
You've just said, well, Magnussen's going to beat Verstappen.
What the fuck? What's going on in my head? Grosjean. Why the fuck did I say Verstappen? Oh my god. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah, I meant Grosjean. Jesus Christ.
Grosjean will be higher up the list because he's got a lower alphabetical initial.
Right, I'm putting your letter next to Grosjean then, Steve. So, James, you're going with Magnussen, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, on to McLaren then. Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris.
It's got to be Carlos Sainz because of experience on it.
That's what I'm
thinking. Also, I want to say, I mentioned this as well, there's that rumour about if the car's good, Alonso's going to come in. And if he does come in, whose seat is he going to take? Well, it ain't going to be Carlos Sainz's seat. So that'll be Lando Norris. So if that does happen, definitely Carlos Sainz is going to score more points than Norris. But did you know that Alonso was at Barcelona today?
Yes.
Mm.
It was announced last week that Alonso would be in Barcelona this week, and the rumour mill was started, and the question was even asked, will we see Alonso in an F1 car? And the response that was given was along the lines of, you never know, if the car's good enough, we might do. And then I think that also then got spun into, Alonso's going to be driving the car in testing, which, to be honest, I can't see that happening. And also, if they were to put Alonso in the car in the test session, what does that say about their current drivers? It says they don't believe their current drivers on their information, and they want a third opinion from a former world champion. And that to me is the wrong message to send, unless you publicly say, look, Lando Norris is still very new to Formula 1, so we're going to put Fernando Alonso in the car instead of Lando Norris, so that we can get a third opinion from an experienced hand to back up what the rookie and the known Carlos Sainz can tell us. If they just leave it as, oh yeah, we're sticking Alonso in, the rumour mill will spin, and yeah, it won't be good.
Yeah, I think. Well, Lando Norris has told us, hasn't he, in past, that he don't make mistakes. So I expect to see Lando. I don't know. Like Max Verstappen came in. I think he was. Were he 16 when he came in? I think he was 16.
16, 17, something like that,
yeah. Yeah. And even
18.
though, yeah, he's not exactly mature or like that, I just, whenever I see Lando Norris, I just think you're way too young. And I know that sounds awful, but I've said this plenty in the past. I want to see Formula 1 drivers like wrestle the cars round corners and stuff like that. He looks like he's fucking got about as much muscle as bloody Justin Bieber.
What concerns me about Lando Norris is he probably should have won the GP2 championship last season, but when the F1 driver sort of rumour mill started going and he was at the track more, he wavered in GP2. Whereas George Russell kind of kept his head down, a little bit under the radar, and did what he needed to do to win. Lando Norris didn't come through in that way, as far as I'm concerned, looking at it just on paper. And I don't know. He's had plenty of test sessions. He's done all right. Is he good enough? I don't know. But I am going to stick my name next to Norris on a gamble. If he manages to beat Carlos Sainz, everybody pretty much will be screaming future world champion. All he would need, I think, is that one result that boosts his confidence enough to go, I belong here, rather than I need to prove, I need to show that this is where I should be. If he has a result early on that says, like, I don't know, it might be him overtaking Carlos Sainz and pulling away and getting decent points, and that'll just set him off where he's like, this is where I belong, right, head down, let's go.
Quite possibly, but I can't see it happening.
Well, we'll find out. Right, James, who are you going for?
We're still on about McLaren, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Carlos Sainz.
Okay. Only 3 more to go. We'll go through these quickly because we know the drivers. Red Bull, Verstappen versus Gasly.
Verstappen. I think it's a step too soon to go up to Red Bull for Gasly.
James?
Back at a cup of tea.
I'll say Verstappen.
Yeah, that's all three of us. I also agree. I think it's too soon for Gasly, but at the same time, I think Gasly has a very similar attitude to Verstappen. I don't think Gasly will move out of Verstappen's way. I think Gasly will have the same attitude as Verstappen, which is no. Simple as that.
Nope.
Okay, this is probably the most interesting one for me. Ferrari, Vettel and Leclerc.
Can I go first?
Go on then.
I can see Vettel this season having a shocker, and he'll be out of Ferrari by the end of the season, if not before the end of the season. And I think Leclerc's just going to show how shit Vettel really is. Because Leclerc, out of all the youngsters coming through, he's really shown last season the capability of racing at that level. And having the opportunity going up against Vettel, I think it will really show Vettel. And I think that's one of the reasons why Vettel moved away from Danny Rick, because he knew that Danny Rick was going to beat him. And I think Leclerc is going to do the same thing. And I'm going to put my what shall I call it? Bold prediction or whatever you want to call it, and not just say that Leclerc is going to outscore Vettel, but I think he's going to outscore everyone. I think Leclerc could take the championship.
Ooh.
I will second that.
Oh, fucking hell.
James agrees with me. What the fuck's happened?
I've thought it all along. I think he might be a bit rough around edges in first 3 or 4 races, and then all of a sudden he'll just start making Vettel cry.
The thing is, I agree with both of you, but I'm wondering whether I should disagree with you just for the sake of it. But I don't think I can, because I think the champion is either going to be Lewis Hamilton or Charles Leclerc. I mean, Leclerc could find that Ferrari is a step too far, but I don't think he will. He's not in that Ferrari because he's paid to be there. He's in that Ferrari because he's good enough to be there and should be there for the next 5 years at least.
Yeah, there's another way of looking at it as well. It's not like he's in the Ferrari because they've got no other driver to turn to. They could have picked anybody off the grid, probably other than Hamilton at this point.
Yeah.
I think next season, or in a couple of seasons, Hamilton will be in the Ferrari.
Yeah.
Because I think when he decides he's done what he can at Mercedes and he just wants to have a couple of seasons before he retires, he'll be in the Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the sake of going there and knowing that he's done it. Now, I just think that Leclerc, he's just going to do it.
How much is he
Simple as
going to
that.
piss Vettel off if, in the last 2 championships, he probably should have won it and he didn't, and then Leclerc comes along and smashes it out of the ballpark?
Well, yeah, it's just going to show Vettel up. It's going to show him for what he is. You look at, who was it that said this? I think it was one of the Formula 1 drivers that said that you look at Vettel, it might have been Mark Webber, you look at Vettel's championship winning seasons, there was only one person that had a chance of beating him, and it was Mark Webber himself.
Yeah.
And that season when Mark Webber should have won it, Vettel didn't need the championship until the very last race.
Yeah.
Apart from that one, Vettel ran away with all the others because no one else was competitive with the car.
Yeah.
So.
Well, so James, I know a couple of days ago you were wondering whether to put a fiver on Leclerc. Have you done it?
Mm-hmm. Not yet, but I need to.
Yeah. Okay, on to the last one. Hamilton versus Bottas.
Easy, Hamilton.
Yeah. And
Bottas.
Go on.
Bottas is a broken man.
I can't see Bottas having a season like Rosberg did. I don't think he's got the ruthlessness in him to go as far as Rosberg went to have to beat Hamilton.
And as well, no offence, every single season, Rosberg were a hell of a lot closer.
Yeah, hell of a lot closer.
I think that's what it was in the past. It was like you had Hamilton and Rosberg against each other. Whereas now you've got Hamilton and Bottas.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not Hamilton versus Bottas, it's just Hamilton and Bottas together driving for the team, which the team is always going to put Hamilton first with him being... I'm not saying that they start the season with that in mind, but they've always gone with whoever's leading the championship, or at the point in time if the one driver clearly has the opportunity to take the championship, or whatever, then, but another bold prediction, halfway through the season, George Russell gets announced to be in Mercedes for next season.
Ooh.
Not Ocon.
Really? Okay. Well, and what was your other one was Leclerc to win, wasn't it? Oh, yeah. Okay, right then, on to the championship. Who's going to win the championship? Well, you've both said Leclerc. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say Hamilton's going to do it, just to go against you. I would love to see Leclerc do it. I really would, not just because it means beating Vettel. I think with his story, with Jules Bianchi, because let's face it, it should be Jules Bianchi that's in that car, and should have been in that car for the last couple of years, but it's not. It's his godson, and he's deserving of being there. I don't think he's going to better Vettel in the first couple of races, but once he's got his foot on the throttle and he knows what he's doing, he's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. But Hamilton last season showed again that even with not having the best car, he can still win a race, and not only that, he can still win the championships. Is the full package, and I think the only way anyone beats him this year is if his car fails him, which could happen because Mercedes, I mean, did Hamilton have any reliability issues at all last season?
Nope.
Not that cost him.
No, it was just gremlins during races.
Yep. Okay then, who is going to take the Constructors' Championship?
I'm going to say Mercedes will take the Constructors. Yeah. Because I think Vettel is going to be so put off by how well... I nearly said George Bianchi then. By how well Leclerc's doing, that it's going to throw him off big time.
Yeah. I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to say Ferrari, just for argument's sake. James?
I think Mercedes will win Constructors because I think Vettel will throw wobbly and throw a lot of points away.
Okay, sorted. Well, I will get them sorted out as our predictions for the season. But let's face it, if F1 is a shit show this season, I can see our podcast not lasting very long regarding Formula 1. Because if the races are boring, we're not going to be wanting to sit here talking. We'd much rather sit here raving about how great a race was than, oh, fucking hell, that was fucking shit. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Okay. James.
Yeah.
Would you like to play a game?
You want to play a game, James? You want to play a game?
Go on.
I spy with my little eye. Not really. Oh. What game do you want to play, Dave?
What about Guess the Year?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
See, James is getting all excited now, but he's going to get very disappointed. Steve, would you like to explain to James what this game is going to be?
You have to guess the year.
Yeah,
No,
a
I
bit
don't mean
more
that.
detail.
Is this my game?
Yes, it's your game. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. All we need from you is all you have to say is whether it's this year or a previous year. Simple as that. This year or previous year.
Okay.
So you're going to have an image to see.
Yeah.
And you have to decide whether it's this year's car or a previous year's car.
They all look fucking same.
That's the fucking point.
Right, hang on 1 second. There we go. Why is that not showing me the pictures?
Oh
Right,
no!
bear with me a second. That's odd.
Well, while Dave's sorting that out, Steve, should we plug your racing league? Because I think there's only a couple of races left, isn't there, season 2?
Yeah, but I'm eating Chris.
Oh, I think you've gone and eaten Chris just because I mentioned.
No,
your racing
I already
league.
had mouthful.
Are they?
I had it on
Hang on.
mute.
Are they crisps or are they those poppadom crisps, which
No,
are
they're-
really fucking good?
They are flame grilled steak Doritos that Claire bought for herself and don't like.
Oh. Right. Okay. I'm ready, guys. I'm ready.
Oh, we'll plug my league in a
yeah.
minute.
No, well, you go on. Plug your league now. And now that
Right.
I'm ready.
Okay, Dynamic GT League. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. We're currently racing in Toyota SFRs. Really close battle because of the way the league's set up. If you want to watch some good racing, find the Dynamic GT YouTube channel, probably link in description. Yeah, and if you are interested in joining us, next season's cars, because this season's coming to an end, next season's car is the Red Bull Junior. This is on PlayStation 4 Gran Turismo Sport. So it's the Red Bull Juniors next season. And yeah, great fun, isn't it, James?
It is. It's just action packed. That's all I can say.
And
Definitely packed.
and better liveries than Formula 1. Okay,
Oh,
right.
definitely.
Yeah, right. Let's go. Okay, so I'm going to send you the first picture, James. Well, I'll send it to both of you, obviously. So, what was his rules again, Steve?
This year or previous year? Sorry then, James.
I'm looking at the wrong one. Right, okay. I would say just because of the size of the airbox, I'll say this year.
What, is the airbox bigger this year?
It looks bigger than what I remember.
Well, I don't know if even though I've got both pictures, I don't know which one this is. I mean, this is okay. This is the piss take thing about delivery, right? You should be able to know straight away. Oh yeah, it's just this year. Oh yeah, that's last year. I've got both pictures,
Honda,
and
yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Honda, I can see Honda.
Oh fucking hell, yeah, it's got a Honda sign on it, hasn't it?
That's the only way I can tell, the fact that it's got a bit of white on the rear near the engine that says Honda. I mean, you can't actually see that it says Honda, but you know that it says Honda.
Well, on the nose cone, there's a little H.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll give you that one as well.
But I'm sure that airbox is bigger than last year. I mean, it's size of a driver's helmet, that.
Yeah. So it's from the airbox that you worked out it's this year's car.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good livery design, that is. Okay, on to the next one then. I think with him being on the airbox, I think he's going to be done now. I think he's got it easy.
Well, yeah, well, that's last year's.
Because of the airbox.
which is exactly the same.
Well, it's a bit smaller in that one, isn't it?
No, it's just a picture that's smaller.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly the same, isn't it? Mind you, could you have found a blurrier picture?
It's not too bad for me.
Not too bad for me. Just your internet not loading the full quality up straight away.
I'll take a picture of what I can see.
Right, so are you going with this year or last year, James?
Last year.
Right, put him
So it's
out
got
of his
Danny
misery,
Ricciardo in it,
Steve.
hasn't it?
Number 33, yeah.
No, number 3.
So it is.
Okay.
It's that blurry image, I can't see it.
Yeah. Right then, on to the next one. Should be easy, this.
Oh, that's
Last
not loading
year.
up for me. Come on.
Last year.
I can't see it. Why is it not loading up for me?
I don't know.
Because my internet's
Because your
rubbish.
internet's shit. It's a Renault, Steve. You should be able to answer that one dead easy.
I should be able to, but I can't remember without seeing it. Hang on, I'll have a look in my pictures that I took.
I'll say last year because the rear wing looks small.
Correct, it is last year's car.
Okay. But okay, it's not interesting, but it does take the piss. You're not realising which year it is from the livery. It's from small physical attributes on the car. Okay, next.
This year.
And do you know that because of...
The rear wing livery. The 2 dark lines that runs. And as well, the 44's black.
That's the main reason, is the 44 is black. That's what
and the
gave it
front-
away.
The front nose is a little bit thinner as well.
No, same as last year's front nose, apparently.
Eh?
Yeah. Yep. Last year, Mercedes ran a narrower front nose than all the other teams.
They did, yeah. They did, yeah. Okay.
On Silver Halo this year.
Ah, yeah, good point. Good point. Okay, on to the next one.
Oh, fuck me.
Where? In the horse?
please, no, Dave.
Just wait till you see the picture that we started off the podcast with.
Well, could be anything that I'd probably say this year.
Okay.
Was it red last year?
I honestly can't remember.
White, red. Yeah. But this is from a previous year, not the previous year.
It is a bit cruel though, just sending him the letters. But anyway, right.
I had to do it so it had a black background.
True. Okay, on to the next one. See, I told you you'd be disappointed, James, when you're actually playing the game.
At least you've thought of a game. I've been thinking about a game all week and then forgot what I was doing. And I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, so while you were busy thinking about a game, Vicky was thinking, I wonder what he's going to get me for my birthday. He didn't propose at Valentine's. Maybe he'll propose on my birthday.
Yeah, I propose, can I do a podcast?
But at least you got the answer of yes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. You got down on one knee to go, Vicky, please can I? She said yes, as you said, do a podcast.
And then I turned around and went, thanks,
See
and walked
ya.
off.
And farted on the way out.
I'm going to say this year.
Any particular reason why?
Driver's helmet. I don't have a fucking clue who that is.
I think that's Albon. Because it is this year's car.
Okay. I honestly wouldn't have been able to tell you without really seeing the front wing on that. It almost looks like a bit of an old-fashioned helmet design he's got there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like he's looking down at his cock.
He's going to say cockpit. Okay, next.
I will say last year. No, this year.
Oh,
Oh.
you're right or you're wrong. Why did you change your mind?
Because I can see sponsors running on the bottom with them white lines.
Yeah, clever. You were right to change, but we're taking your first answer. So you're wrong.
Fuck off.
Okay.
I was, just from the look of it, I was thinking, oh, it just looks the same as last year. And then it wasn't until I saw the little sponsors running on the bottom that I was like, oh, actually, that's this year.
Okay, hang on a second. Oh, it's there. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not come up again.
So that's last year, isn't it?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you really sure?
Yeah.
Do you want to check your numbers?
Yeah, it's last year's car, but with it's probably test at Abu Dhabi at the end of the year.
Yeah, bastard.
He's on it. He's on it.
Did you hear what? What's his name now? He used to do a bit of midweek commentary on Sky with that Woolhouse woman. Ooh, I forgot her name. Something Woolhouse.
No idea who you mean.
Ooh, on Sky. Proper babe. I'm trying to think. Anyway, basically, he used to work for McLaren as a mechanic. I forgot his name.
Dark hair.
Mark Priestley.
That's the one.
Yeah, he was saying that he
It's
had...
not Woodhouse, it's Pinkham.
No. She no longer does. It was called the F1 Report, and it was like a midweek show on Sky.
Pinkham now does that.
Yeah, well, it used to be a woman called Woolhouse, and she went, oh yeah.
Google
But I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, my brain's gone.
Mark Priestley saying...
Yeah, that were it. Yeah, he was saying that he had some inside information that the McLaren, they realised at the end of testing that they'd massively fucked up with the design.
Mm-hmm.
You know, saying like, oh, well, our designs in the wind tunnel were giving us different readings to what we're actually seeing.
Yeah.
And what they'd done was, the front, we can even see it in that picture. If you bring, have you still got that number 55 McLaren on screen?
I can put it back on screen.
Yeah. So the gap between the front wheel and the airbox was too short.
All right.
They were saying that the airflow running round that tyre was... It was okay in a straight line, but once the wheel started turning, it disrupted the airflow so much that it were completely fucked in corners.
Oh.
So all the aerodynamic work of the front wing was getting fucked every time the drivers turned the wheel.
Bloody hell.
So they said that they needed to extend the gap between the front wheel and the airbox just a bit more. So you'll see that this year's McLaren...
The airbox is further back.
Yeah, it's further back as the airbox, and the front wheels are further forward.
Well, maybe Stoffel Van Dorn wasn't really that shit then. Watch Formula E. Okay, on to the next one. I've already sent you the picture.
I will say this year's.
And
Any particular reason?
Well, at first glance, I didn't have a clue, but then second glance, I saw Vettel's helmet and I saw the Mission Win Now right on his forehead, which wasn't last year, and also the Mission Win Now on the body is black.
And it's also Winnow, not Win Now.
Yeah, it's Winnow, not which I think still call it Win Now because they fucking need to.
Yeah, the main reason why that you should be able to tell that that's this year's car is it's got a triangle airbox.
Oh yeah,
Triangle airbox.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the only car running a triangle-shaped airbox.
Mm.
And it's also one of the smallest airboxes.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
I'm there looking at fucking side ones and realise how it's funny there. I'm looking at they're little fucking funny shaped triangles to me, but then I'm like, oh shit, it's there.
Right, on to the next one then.
It's not loaded for me yet. You right to resend that? I've just got a grey blob.
Yeah, I've sent it. It's not a grey blob, it's an Alfa Romeo.
No, on my screen it's a grey blob.
I'll
Oh,
send it.
hang on, I can see it now.
There you
Right. Well, it's this year's, isn't it? No, actually, no, it's last year's.
Taking that answer. You're wrong. Look at the number on it.
Yeah, but I thought, oh, fuck's sake. But is it last? Can I see the full image?
Yeah, of course you can. Admittedly, I was kind of guessing. All I saw was the number 7 and thought, well, that's can be right.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, is it last year's car?
No.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
That's the thing. It looks like this is the thing that all of them look like last year's car.
Mm.
It's only in the minor detail.
Yeah. I do like the front wing on that. That's the amount of wing I'd like to see from all
The
cars.
only way we're able to tell what year it is by body parts on the car and not by the livery.
Yeah. You know, I would actually like to see the front wing on Alfa Romeo be red, like the back end of the car.
Yeah. Well, I'd like the entire car to be more that
red,
dark red, and with like what other colours on the badge of Alfa Romeo? It's got a bit of green on it.
Green. Yeah.
Green, white, and red. Yeah, just have a few hints of little bits of green just for detail.
Yeah. Okay.
So that you know a difference between the Alfa and the Ferrari.
Okay, we're getting a bit musical now as we come on, Orlean.
Sounds like a porno.
Doesn't it?
Oh, I've got a story to tell you about.
It's not got. It doesn't involve piranhas, does it?
No. 63. Who the fuck's that? It's blue. Is it McLaren? Is it them chocolates?
I can't believe you got that wrong.
It's either McLaren or Williams.
Yeah, but is it this year's or last year's? Or previous years?
Let's say this year's McLaren, I'll guess.
Show him the picture, Dave.
It's a telltale sign that he's got it wrong. Show him the picture.
Bit of Williams on it.
The thing is with that. The thing is with that, seeing the Williams now after physically seeing those others, that now looks nice.
Yeah, because it's different.
Yeah.
I do think the rocket logo though, where the O is red, that needs to be blue to match the rest of the livery.
The thing is though, who in their right mind sponsors Williams with the name Rocket? Because it fucking ain't gonna be.
No, it's. I just don't. I know they sponsor one at British touring car drivers. But,
yeah, it's Nick Hamilton.
I mean, can they have that much money? How much money have they got?
No idea. But maybe
Well, I've never even heard of Rocket. What do they do?
No.
Do they do car parts?
They make rocking chairs.
Smartphones.
Is it? I've no idea. Yeah. I just thought this rocking chairs, that would be a good name for a rocking chair company. Although, to be fair, I don't think rocking chairs actually exist anymore.
James, I know you like your blurry images.
Yeah, that's why I went fucking hell, because even I'm looking at it thinking, hang on, am I going balls-eyed?
Oh, hang on.
I'll
go last year.
Show him the image, Dave, before he changes his mind.
To be fair, with that picture, I think with it being so blurry, it doesn't help.
He's zoomed in so far, so I can't see any blue.
Yeah, I had to get the rear wing sponsor and the front wing sponsor off, otherwise you'd have known it was this year. No, but also, I didn't want to... On all of them, I've tried not to show the front wing, because that'd just give it away.
Well done, Steve, well done.
Is there another one, Dave?
No, that is all of them, I'm afraid.
I mean, we haven't had, have we really ended this on Perez?
Oh, Jesus Christ, no, we've ended on Steve shitting himself. No, we're not going to end on Perez. You said, actually, James, you've got a little story to tell us.
Before he does, though, just remember that. I've got a question I need to ask James. Just plug my league again a little bit, all right? You do commentary, James, for our league, which is on YouTube, yeah?
Do I?
During commentary, you said something that I just need a bit more clarification on.
Oh, yeah, go on.
You said it was like throwing a virgin to the piranhas. Why would you throw a virgin to a piranhas?
Because, right, this is it, right? I was going to say to... throwing a virgin to some what we're going to say, perverts. I think we're going to say perverts, but I couldn't say perverts because I thought, oh no, that's a bit wrong, isn't it? You know.
So you'll throw her to a death instead.
So yeah, well, at least you know they're not going to rape her. You know. So I thought, oh well, I'll just say. The only other thing that popped in my head we're either going to be piranhas or pirates, you know. It came out piranhas.
Yeah. There's definitely one of those moments where I'm thinking, I'm saying nothing about that. we'll move on now. It's a definite. I think that was a definite sign of a situation where somebody says something and then afterwards thinks, "Why the fuck did I just say that?"
Yeah, but within two, I don't know. My brain recently has just been completely scrambled, and like I just halfway through a sentence and I forget what I'm saying, and it just kind of messes with me. But I do find it funny then to watch back, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Why did the brain put that?
You did do a brilliant Murrayism early on. When you said, what was it? Something about, there's nothing wrong with Demon R's eyesight there, but he did tell me this week he has hurt his eyes.
I forgot I did that. That's brilliant.
Oh, dear.
It's because I said, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with his," because I wanted to seamlessly get on to the fact that you'd done something to your eyes, but like in order to get to that, I had to be a bit stupid.
Oh well. Right. Anyway, you said you got a story for us.
Oh no, it was just I don't know if I said to you the other day about there's a bloke at our work, and we call him Gollum, right?
Does he have pet piranhas?
No, but he could be.
But he's got a tight ring.
He could.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah, he's called Gollum, so he's like and he comes in at end of day just to like get a trolley. He uses one of the trolleys that we have in our room, and he always comes in at about 10 to 5 and goes,
"Oh, precious."
We go, that's what we do when he's taking trolley out, like, stroking trolley. So yeah, no, He just comes in the through door, and literally we have no context at all. We've not seen him all day, and he literally just pops his head round the corner and goes, "What time's he come?" And me and Paul were like, "What you on about?" And he went, "What time's he come?" And we were like, "Seriously, what you on about?" He went, That man in the morning, he turns up and he comes." And we're like, "Is this guy taking the piss out or what?" And we were like, "You mean like the delivery man?" Yeah. What time's he come?" And so then Paul went, "Oof, I don't know what time he comes, but he gets here, I think." And then we turned around and we were asking another person at the other end of the room who seemed a bit simple, and we're like, "What time does that man come on a morning?" And they were like, "Oh," like other people were just not getting what we were doing. We were just like emphasising the word "come." I'm like, what time does that man come? Oh yeah. So then I just ended up saying something like, "Oh yeah, so what he does is, right, he comes at about 7 a.m. and then he gets here for about 8 o'clock." And he just were like, "So what time does he get here? 7 or 8? I went, "Yeah, I've just told you. He comes at 7 a.m. and then he gets here at 8. And he's like, "So what time? I don't get it. What time's he?" We were literally like having a conversation with a fucking brick wall. Just had no idea that what he was saying sounded like a sexual reference. Like, oh my god. And then Paul just went, "Oh yeah, because and it, like, just to confuse him even further, Paul just went, "Oh yeah, I might come on way home."
Oh dear.
Says when I'm driving home with my wife, I might come on way home.
Oh, you're gonna get done for sexual harassment. You are.
I have done all. Right. What, we go him?
Yeah. Told you he's got a tight ring. Right, I've got two little stories to tell you. One of them I may have told you before. If I have, I apologise, but it's been a while. And it goes like this: the next time your wife, or in your case James' girlfriend, gets angry, drape a towel over her shoulders like a cape and say, "Now you're super angry."
I tried that.
Did it work?
Well, she was super angry.
Okay, my next story. A man and a woman were married for many years. And whenever there was a confrontation, yelling could be heard deep into the night. And the old man would shout, "When I die, I'll dig my way up and out of the grave and come back and haunt you for the rest of your life." Even the neighbours feared him. The old man liked the fact that he was feared. Then one evening he died, when he was 98. After the burial, the widow's neighbours, concerned for her safety, asked her, "Aren't you afraid that he may indeed be able to dig his way out of the grave and haunt you for the rest of your life?" And the widow said, "Let the fucker dig. I had him buried upside down."
Brilliant.
And on that bombshell, I think he's back to the studio. Right, I think it's time we bring the podcast to an end now. Thank you, everyone.
It's been good to be back to do it, because there have been certain things that, like, you know, that are on your mind and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. There's been so many years in the past where the build up to F1, like reading every news story here, there, and everywhere. And, like, I don't know what it is. I'm just. It's really a struggle to get interested.
Yeah. Well,
especially when you can watch Steve's Racing League and you get 100% more entertainment.
Yeah. I mean, it comes to something when sort of die-hard F1 fans are being more entertained by Formula E. Hopefully, Formula 1 can change that this year. But we shall wait and see. It'll be interesting to see what happens throughout the test this week anyway. I'm just thinking, I did have loads of like facts and information about the test sessions actually. You know what, I've not mentioned anything about them, to be honest, but when it comes to information about the test sessions, lap times mean absolutely fuck all. But the interesting thing, right, before today Williams had only done, I think it was 83 laps. They've now done 207. So they've done over 100 laps today, which is good. However, Ferrari have done 708, Mercedes 700, Red Bull, which this is impressive, Red Bull 611. And how many did the Honda do in the last year in McLaren? I can't remember, it weren't many. Alfa Romeo 606, Renault 590, Toro Rosso 585, McLaren 525, Haas 515, Racing Point 330, and then Williams with 207. For Red Bull, well, not just Red Bull, for Toro Rosso as well. I mean, Red Bull and Toro Rosso, that's over 1,100 laps done, which is pretty good fucking going, really.
Yeah, definitely.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the rest of the test sessions, but to be fair, we're not really going to know anything until Melbourne, and even then I still don't think the teams will be running at 100%. I think they're all going to get through the first weekend wanting to take as little out of the car as possible. Okay, right, time to bring this to an end then. So the first race will be March the 15th to the 17th from Australia. Obviously we'll work out if we're going to do another podcast next week, and see if we can perhaps get back into the swing of things. Maybe if me and James have caught up with Formula E, we'll be able to discuss that a little bit more as well. Okay.
Yeah, we could always, just a potential thought, could always do a podcast while playing Red Dead.
We could, yeah. That is one thing that we had thought about doing. We will have to come together and see what we can find.
What time you come?
Tomorrow. Okay, right. Thanks for listening, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe if you want to. Oh, Jesus. That wasn't me. That was so bad. I felt it. Thanks for listening in. Steve and James, it's been fun. So, have a good one, folks, and we'll see you all again
See you
soon.
later.
You bet.
Blah 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 blah.